point number one, if you can go grab your phone or a calculator, and I'm going to show you something which I've shown one of my mates. So this is a guy I've known for a lot of years. So one of my good old school friends. He's got a job that probably pays around about low 30s, around about that sort of area. He's managed to pay his own house off, so he's got a property that's worth £90,000 and he doesn't know anything on it. So he's paid his mortgage off and he's got £50,000 worth of savings. Now, he'd been sat on these savings for quite a few years. So he'd been sat on them savings for, I think, 3.5 years. He paid his house off and he was sat on 50 grand. And he come to me and said, I've seen a little bit of your stuff and things like that on YouTube. And I'm just thinking, could I get my money working a bit harder for me? So I said, well, what exactly is it you've got? And he said, well, I've got £50,000 in cash. And I've got a property that I don't know anything on. It's worth around about £90,000. So I went, shit, you could make a lot of money with that. So one of the strategies, even if you just want to invest, so we have people who invest in my projects. And if I give, usually, I give good rates. So if people invest with me, I'll give them 1% per month, which is obviously 12%. Over the year. So I give someone 12%. So if you want to follow, you can grab pen and paper, grab a calculator, and I'm going to show you how I showed my mate how to make over 100 grand in 6 years by doing hardly anything. So here's what the crack was, right? So he had, can you see that? So he had 50,000 in savings. So he had £50,000 in savings, and he had a house that was unencumbered, which means it didn't have any debt tied to it, and it was worth 90,000. So he had a property that was 90,000, and he had no money owed on that, so he paid all his mortgage off, and he had £50,000 in savings. So he said to me, can I do something extra with my money? And I said, absolutely, yeah. So let's just put a line underneath that. So first of all, if you don't know about compound effect, well, let me tell you this. Albert Einstein said that compound effect was the 8th wonder of the world. Compound effect was the 8th wonder of the world. So let me show you why. So he had £50,000 worth of savings, and he had a property that was £90,000. Now I said to him, if you take some of that money out of there, he could have took 90% out of the 90 grand. So he could have took around about 81. But I said to him, take around about 60 out, leave some in so you've got a little bit of a buffer in the property. Don't gear up to the max. So leave a bit more money in. So we took £60,000 from here, and he already had 50,000 in the bank. He had a little bit more than that, but he wanted to sort of leave, I think, 6 or 7 grand in the bank. So he said, right, I've got 50 I'm happy to play with. And we took 60 out of his house. So in total, we took 110,000. Can you see that all right? Yeah. Okay. So 50 from his savings, we took 60 out of his house, meaning he had 110,000. Now, initially, I showed him what to do with the savings. So here's the calculation I want you to do. So I'm going to get, I'm borrowing Sadie's phone, so hopefully, yeah, she has left it on for me. So, I'm going to show you the calculation. So if we do 50,000, can everyone see that? So if we have 50,000, which was the amount he had in his savings, and I'm willing to give him 12% on his money, so if we times that by 1.12, which is 12%, so that's 1% per month over a year. So if he tied his money in for a year, we'd give him 12%. So that would give him 56,000 at the end of the year. Everyone with me? Okay, that's year one. Now, if you leave the money in, you start to get 12% on the 6,000 as well. So watch what happens. So that was year one. So times by 1.12. So that's year two. Times by 1.12. That's year three. Times by 1.12. That's year four. Times by 1.12. That's year 5 times by 1.12 equals. So after 6 years, his 50,000 is now worth 98,691. So he's gained 48,000 over 6 years just by putting them savings in. Now I want you to think of this. At the moment, interest rates with the bank are 0.1%. 0.1%. So if you were to get 10%, you'd obviously have 5 grand. If you were to get 1%, you would get 500. If you were to get 0.1, you'd get 50 quid. That's it. £50 on your money for a whole year. So if you left it in for 6 years, you're going to have gained around about 300 quid, a little bit more. £300 of 50 grand sat in the bank. And my mate made 98,000. So minus his 50 you put in, meaning he gained 48 grand. So once he realised what he could do, I then showed him how to pull 60,000 out of his property. So he just remortgaged it. So he had no debt on it. So what he done was he had a look at the equity in his property and he pulled out £60,000 out of this property. So if you're with me so far, give me a like. Give me a like if you're understanding what I mean, so I understand. If you don't understand, give me a sad face. That tells me that I need to go into it a little bit more. So if you're getting it, if you understand that so far, give me a like. Do that and then I'll understand that people are grasping it. And if you're not grasping it, give me a sad face and I know I need to go over it again. And then I'm going to show you how he now made 117 grand by another technique. So give me a like. Can I not see that? I think I've turned some off on my phone. So give me a like. Let me see if I can see that. Okay, here we go. I can see likes. I can see likes. Right, how do I get rid of that again? There we go. Okay, so what we done was we then took 60,000 out of here. So he now had a total of 110,000. Now watch the calculation. So if you go on your phone, so he now had 110,000. Can you see that? So he had 110,000, which was his 50 grand savings and 60 grand out of his property. Now watch what happens over just 6 years. So we times it by 1.12, because that's what I was willing to give him, 12% on his money, equals, so that's 1, times by 1.12 is 2, times by 1.12 is 3, times by 1.12 is 4, times by 1.12 is 5, times by 1.12 is 6. 217,000. So his money has gone up from 110 to 217,000 in just 6 years through compound effect. That's by just getting 12% return on your money each year. So the question is, so we've now made that go to 217,000. So we've gained 107,000. £107,000 gain in 6 years for just leaving his money in and tying it up. And that's how fast money can build when you're getting compound effect. Because if you're leaving it in, you start getting interest on the last year's interest. And then that interest keeps building. And that's why Albert Einstein called it the 8th wonder of the world. So if you've got equity in your property right now, or you're sat on savings, if you're sat on savings in the bank, it's costing you money, because inflation's going up at around about 2.5%, and your money in the bank is giving you 0.1%. So your money's actually depreciating in the bank. So if you're getting savings of anything less than 2.5, your money's actually depreciating inside the bank. If you put it into something where it compounds like this, you can start to make some really good money. So that's how we made 107 grand. So if you've got money now sat in savings, or you've got money in your property and you pull a little bit out and you understand how to invest it, either into property, or you work with someone like myself on one of my projects where you put some money in, that money can compound at a really quick rate. And that, my friend now is on year 4, and he's just took a big chunk of his interest out. So he took a chunk of his interest out, but that's what you can make over just 6 years. So if you've got money, get it working harder for you, because people understand how to work for money, but very few people understand how to get money to work for them. And this is the smartest thing you can do. So if you can start to get leverage and compound effect, you can start to make some good money.